And he know when I go spend time with my piece, I'm going through things. You know what I'm saying? When he was there, at least I know where he was at. Because it was something that we didn't do. It's something that we normally do. Y'all with me? And it was good for it.
Tank is always making headlines, whether it's for his knockout power, heated rivalries, or the drama in his camp. There's never a dull moment with him. But this time, the buzz isn't about his fights, it's about his team. Just weeks after his unexpected majority draw against Lamont Roach Jr., Barry Hunter, who filled in as his trainer while Calvin Ford took a break, has officially split from the Baltimore boxer. The events leading up to this split are just as significant as the split itself. Tank's longtime trainer, Calvin Ford, stepped aside before the Roach fight. Ford played a key role in Tank's journey, guiding him from a young amateur to one of boxing's most dangerous knockout artists. With Ford temporarily out, Barry Hunter stepped in. Although Hunter had been part of Tank's camp before, this was his first time taking charge in a high-stakes fight.
I could have definitely did more. Just a lot going on. But again, it was myself, But you gotta go to the gym and, get back to the drawing board and, train a little harder.
Despite the switch in trainers, Tank's team remained confident, assuring fans that he was just as sharp, just as dangerous, and ready to put on a show. Many expected Lamont Roach Jr. to be just another name on Tank's highlight reel. While Roach had a reputation for being skilled and tough, most didn't see him as a serious challenge to Tank's dominance.
They don't rob scorecards. They said majority draw. They cheated Roach. Roach got robbed, and everybody knows it. Rematch.
But once the fight began, everything changed. Right from the start, Roach wasn't just surviving. He was excelling. He landed clean shots, kept up with Tank's pace, and refused to back down. On the other hand, Tank looked hesitant, lacking the explosive power that made him so feared. As the fight progressed, one thing became obvious. This wasn't the Tank Davis fans were expecting to see.
Do you think Tank gets a lot of criticism for not knocking Lamont out and Lamont not being a big name, so they overblow it?
I think so, yeah, and I feel like people just don't like Tank to a point where any little thing, just because he ain't knock him out, he probably feel as though that he lost, and he didn't, or it was a draw, I feel like Tank was doing a lot of smart things in the beginning, moving a little bit too much.
A crucial moment came in the 9th round when Tank unexpectedly took a knee, complaining about irritation in his eye. The referee allowed him time to recover, but by then, the momentum had completely shifted in Roach's favor. As the fight continued, Roach stayed aggressive while Tank struggled to land the knockout punch he was known for. By the final bell, it was clear this wasn't the dominant performance everyone had expected. When the scorecards were announced, one judge had Tank ahead, but the other two scored it even, resulting in a majority draw. The boxing world was shocked. What was supposed to be an easy win, a simple tune-up fight, ended with Tank barely escaping with a draw.
But enough.
Can you describe what the feeling was like in the ring? And was it to get the towel out, to get the burn out of your eyes, or what was going on? And
I didn't want to get caught. While my eyes was burning.
Barry Hunter didn't mince words in the post-fight interview. He was direct, saying Tank lost focus during the fight. It was a harsh critique, but it stuck. Tank had never looked this out of sync before. He had fought through tough challenges, taken on bigger punchers, slicker boxers, and stronger opponents. Yet, in the one fight without Calvin Ford in his corner, he suddenly struggled against a fighter many thought was below his level.
These days kind of averaging one fight a year, which is a shame. He wants to have 3 more fights and then retire by the end of 2025. Does he get?
The fallout was instant. Fans and analysts dissected every moment of the fight, trying to figure out what went wrong. Some blamed Tank's training camp. Others believed he underestimated Roach, and many pointed fingers at Barry Hunter. The biggest question became whether Hunter had truly prepared Tank for the fight. Now, Hunter has officially walked away. Aside from his comments on Tank's lack of focus, he hasn't shared many details, but the message is clear: the partnership didn't work, and he's moving on. With Hunter out, Tank is now making moves to reunite with Calvin Ford.
tell us something, bro. Like, what did you think about the decision?
I ain't gonna shit on him.
Okay.
We still got to see each other. He say he want to fight me, so we gonna fight.
But what do you think about the decision?
I thought Lamar won.
You thought Lamar won. Got you. I'll talk to you later.
Sources close to the situation say Tank has already reached out, eager to bring Ford back for his expected return in May. Ford hasn't spoken publicly, but given their deep history, a reunion seems likely. He's more than just a trainer. He's Tank's mentor, the one who shaped his style and guided his career from the start. If Tank wants to get back to his dominant form, having Ford in his corner is key. But even with their reunion on the horizon, the damage from the Roach fight is already done. Tank's aura of invincibility has taken a serious hit. Frustrated by the controversial draw, he's pushing hard for a rematch, determined to settle the score as soon as May.
On a rematch, do you let me know now? Do you want to fight Tank again? He said he open to do a rematch. Do you want to fight Tank
100%. It's only a matter of time. We're gonna fight. We're going to fight again. It's just whenever the fight gonna happen.
So it's gonna happen.
It's going to happen.
The WBA lightweight champ isn't happy with how things turned out and is eager for a rematch to prove he should have won outright. The first fight left a bitter feeling for Davis, who believes the controversy in the 9th round played a key role in the final outcome. When he took a knee and asked his corner to wipe his eye, referee Steve Willis didn't count it as a knockdown. However, from Roach's perspective, if it had been ruled a knockdown, it could have completely changed the fight. Two judges scored at 114 to 114, while one had Davis ahead 115 to 113. A knockdown might have swayed the decision in Roach's favor. That detail has Tank fired up. He's determined to clear the air and settle things once and for all in a rematch.
Man, I'm not. Honestly, I thought I should have won without that being counted a knockdown. Look, I ain't the ref. I ain't really, you know what I'm saying? Like, if he had to wipe sweat out his eye, he had to wipe sweat out his eye. But the rules do state, if you voluntarily take a knee, then that's an automatic game.
After a few days of silence, Tank took to social media to make it clear that he's pushing for a rematch. Despite initially saying it wouldn't happen next, he's now focused on locking it in for May. This is a major shift from his previous position, showing just how much the fight, and all the controversy surrounding it, has been weighing on him. The 9th round incident isn't just controversial because of the non-knockdown call, it's also Tank's explanation. He claimed that hair grease got into his eye, affecting his vision. That statement quickly became a hot topic, with fans debating whether it was a legitimate issue or just an excuse. Roach didn't hold back, making his view clear. The rules are the rules, and if a fighter voluntarily goes down, it should be counted as a knockdown.
Feeling shocked, man, but 90% of people saying that Lamont Roach won, he got robbed, that knee should have been a knockdown. But hey, I'm looking at a rule that somebody found. I don't know if it's true, but hey, man, that applies to the situation. Was it really a knockdown?
Then came another twist. Tank's own hairstylist fired back at his claim. The stylist, known as Lee the Brand on Instagram, denied using any grease in Tank's hair before the fight. She even posted a picture of the exact product she used, highlighting that it clearly said, "no grease," on the label. To her, Tank's excuse didn't add up. She also pointed out the timeline, noting that she braided his hair on Wednesday. Since then, Tank had done media duties, workouts, and the weigh-in before stepping into the ring on Saturday. If grease was really the issue, why didn't it cause problems earlier? Her response only fueled the debate, making it seem like Tank was reaching for an explanation. Meanwhile, Roach isn't sitting around waiting for Tank to make up his mind. He's keeping his options open, including a potential fight with WBC lightweight champion Shakur Stevenson. Roach made it clear that he wants the biggest fights, and if Tank isn't available, he's more than ready to test himself against Stevenson. The two have already discussed it, making it a very real possibility. Tank's sudden push for the rematch suggests he's feeling the pressure from all the criticism. His performance against Roach raised serious doubts, and some believe he was exposed. Roach, who moved up from super featherweight for this fight, wasn't supposed to be a serious threat, but he fought Tank evenly, and some even argue he did enough to win.
Did you think it was a draw? Nah. I thought Lamont won. Who you got won? Lamont.
You got Lamont won? By how many rounds?
I don't know. You still want to
Interview 12. If Davis doesn't fight Roach again and dominate, this draw will continue to follow him every time his name comes up. It's the kind of mark on a fighter's record that sticks, especially for someone like Tank, who built his reputation as an elite finisher. That's why this rematch is so crucial. It's not just about settling the score. It's about proving the first fight was a fluke, that he had an off night, and that he's on a completely different level than Roach. But to make that statement, Tank needs to get back into the right mindset, especially after losing Barry Hunter. Hunter, who stepped in when Calvin Ford took a break, parted ways with Tank after the draw. He didn't hold back, saying Tank lost focus, which played a major role in his failure to finish Roach. With Hunter gone, Tank is now focused on reuniting with Ford, hoping to have him back in his corner for the rematch.
Clearly in there, man. I thought I won. I thought I did enough to get the victory over a spectacular fighter. I told y'all from the beginning, man, that I got the skills to pay the bills. I've been telling y'all.
There's a clear irony in all of this. The one-time Tank doesn't have Calvin Ford in his corner. He's pushed to the limit by a fighter many considered a tune-up opponent. Roach wasn't expected to cause him this much trouble, but without Ford's guidance, Tank seemed out of sorts at times. That brings up a key question. Did Tank struggle because Roach was better than anticipated, or was it because Ford wasn't there to keep him focused? Now, with Tank pushing hard for the rematch, the focus shifts to whether he can actually make it happen. There are still obstacles to overcome, like negotiations and timing, but one thing is clear. Tank isn't willing to let this fight go unanswered.
He's respectful. His whole team is respectful and things like that. So we always show respect to one another. But, you know, this is a hurt sport, so.
Roach might view a fight with Stevenson as the better option, both financially and for his legacy. If he chooses that path, Tank will have no choice but to find another opponent while waiting for Roach's schedule to open up. But if Roach is willing to run it back, their rematch could turn into one of the biggest fights of the first half of the year. For now, Tank is doing everything in his power to make it happen. He knows that if he doesn't, the criticism will only grow louder, and the doubts surrounding him will continue to mount.
We could get it before. It probably won't be this year.
Is that the one you want next?
It's definitely the one I want next, but it's not gonna be next.
He's already faced criticism for the hair grease excuse, and he can't afford to let the doubts linger. If the rematch is signed, it will be the ultimate test for Davis. Either he comes back stronger and dominates, or Roach proves the first fight wasn't a fluke. One thing is clear, Tank isn't used to being in this position. He's the knockout artist, the one opponents are supposed to fear. But after Roach pushed him to the limit, that perception began to shift. Now, Tank is fighting not just to win, but to remind everyone why he was once considered one of the most dangerous men in boxing. And if the rematch doesn't happen, those questions will haunt him for a long time.
Nobody like a draw, you know, from a guy that gets knockouts and things like that, but it's cool. I feel like if we fight again, I could do more.
The controversy just won't die down. Now, the New York State Athletic Commission is stepping in, reviewing what happened in the 9th round. That moment when Tank took a knee is being closely examined. Referee Steve Willis started a count, but never officially ruled it a knockdown. If he had, Roach would have won on the cards. Now, boxing Twitter is on fire, with fighters and analysts debating back and forth. But this isn't the usual post-fight chatter. It's more heated, more intense. Tank's performance is being questioned. Roach is earning even more respect, and the debate over that call isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Lamont Roach and others are now suggesting that the fight result might actually be overturned, changing the draw to a win in Roach's favor. Roach himself hinted at it, saying, "Word round the block, y'all. Fight, about to be 30-1, not 30-1-2. Two-time, two-division champ." Combat sports journalist Luke Thomas also chimed in, saying on X that if the commission overturns the result, it would be the first smart decision an athletic commission has made in a while. However, historically, commissions rarely change fight results in situations like this. A rematch remains the best and most realistic solution, and with all the controversy surrounding it, the fight is already shaping up to be a huge event out of nowhere.
I didn't want to get caught. I didn't want to get caught while my eyes was burning. And you know, like, you can get knocked out like that. So I'd rather take the knee than, you know. But I didn't really know that you can like get disqualified for all that. Or like when you start counting, I'm like, what the hell?
The WBA is pushing for a rematch between Gervonta "Tank" Davis and Lamont Roach Jr. after their highly controversial draw on Saturday. Although Davis retained his WBA lightweight title and undefeated record, he might have avoided defeat thanks to referee Steve Willis in round 9. After taking a knee following a punch from Roach, Davis rushed to his corner to have his face wiped, later claiming that grease from his hair was burning his eyes. While Willis reprimanded him, he didn't rule it a knockdown, nor did the judges. If it had been scored as a knockdown, Roach could have won the round 10-8 or possibly 10-9, which might have been enough to secure him the victory in Brooklyn.
What happened? I just got my hair done 2 days ago and she put grease in my shit, so the shit was like, you know, like when you sweating and things like that and the grease come in my face.
WBA President Gilberto Mendoza made it clear there's no doubt a rematch is coming. Speaking to the ring, he said, "I think this supersedes public perception. We have a huge star in the sport, and we need to send a strong message." Mendoza acknowledged the controversy, questioning referee Steve Willis's decision. Maybe he saw a competitive fight. Maybe he didn't think it was a punch. But how do you explain Tank putting his knee on the canvas? The fact that Davis didn't drop immediately after Roach landed the shot only fuels the debate, making the rematch feel inevitable.
You think he'll ever fight you?
Lamont or Tank?
Nah, Tank.
Yeah, I think he don't got no choice. I think that tonight was a wake-up call for him. And he probably gonna try to go train hard.
Now, Davis is working behind the scenes to secure the rematch for May. He's not just talking about it on X. He's pushing his team to make it happen. He wants to prove the first fight was a fluke and that Roach wasn't truly on his level. But the controversy from their first meeting has only fueled Roach's determination. He no longer sees Davis as an untouchable star. He smelled blood in Brooklyn and is eager to finish what he started. Roach has been vocal, demanding the rematch, not just because he wants it, but because he believes he deserves it. In his eyes, if the 9th round knockdown had been counted, he would have won. Now he's making it clear. If they run it back, there will be no excuses, no questionable calls, just a clear and definitive winner. Davis is still downplaying Roach's performance, insisting that the fight would have never been close if not for the hair grease incident. Yet, he's the one pushing for a rematch. It's a contradiction, but it's only making the fight even bigger. Fans are already debating who really won, and both fighters are keeping the buzz alive. Behind the scenes, negotiations are underway. Promoters see the rematch as a goldmine. Controversy has turned Roach into a bigger name overnight, and Tank now has something to prove. What was never meant to be a significant fight is quickly shaping up to be one of the most talked about rematches in boxing history.
Para poderlo noquear, y el cual Loma venía muy bien preparado, muy bien concentrado en el plan de trabajo. Bueno, creo que a Tank le faltó presionar, tirar más golpes para ser más contundente y que se viera más efectivo a la hora de la victoria.
¿Te gustaría ver una revancha entre ellos?
Pues estaría muy agradable, ahora sí que en la primera.
Tank's team is determined to set the record straight with a dominant performance. The first fight was too close for comfort, and Davis doesn't want another controversial decision. He's aware he needs to make a statement, especially after the backlash he faced. Roach, on the other hand, is looking to build on the momentum from their first fight. He's no longer just an opponent. He's a legitimate threat, and he knows it.
They ain't believe me. I told them too, a whole lot of times. Y'all got me fucked up. I'm really that.
Lamar.
Despite initially saying the rematch wouldn't happen next, Tank has shifted his stance. The pressure is mounting, and he's determined not to let this controversy define him. Now, he's fully focused, pushing for a May showdown, making it clear that Roach is his next target. With the WBA backing the fight and both fighters eager for it, the rematch feels inevitable. The only thing left is the official announcement, and when it comes, the hype will explode once again.